C, D, E, F, and X. And earlier on this morning, we had the qualifying session, and I do believe out of the front four, we've got 2 Class X's, if I had it correct, the way I saw it this morning while we were doing our sound checks, etc. But as always, pretty much around about 30 cars that's going to be out on circuit today. Lady racers out there, some old guns out there, some returnees like Cedric Berger in the Class C car. That's back out there. People at 11 o'clock last night, Frankie, sent messages saying, unfortunately, I'm out for tomorrow. Tried everything, can't get it done.
Yeah, that was Michael Lucia, as you mentioned, and then having a chat to the Detoy families that they only got finished at about, that wasn't the Detoys, somebody finished up at about 12:15 this morning, getting their cars all sorted out. So, yeah, a lot of guys were burning the midnight oil to get their race car sorted out for today in the Clubmans. But, yeah, big pity that on the 99th hour, we lost that Golf of Michael Lucia, so he will be out for today.
Well, we did manage to get the Shane Justice car sorted out. They had some engine problems with that motor car, and Shane Justice has in fact qualified on a 124.5, leading out Class B ahead of Paul Minnick and Willem Swart. So, yeah, moving up the ranks, the mayor of Boersig, Shane Justice.
Yeah, and also good to see that Jaco Lambert is back again in his car, and he's qualified with a 121.748. He's qualified that Polo in a pole position, and good to see him back out again. He was away for a while, but he is back. That's Shane Justice's Golf rolling through your screen there with Paul Munich and Willie Swart in there behind him, Dylan Jabber. All of the guys busy working their way through Cape Town corner to take their positions. We see the 46 car on the screen there. That's a sports and GT car of Andre Steenkamp that had problems out there earlier on this morning.
You think it's a little bit lighter now?
I think, yeah.
It's a couple of liters,
Fuel
I mean kilograms.
Oil-wise, it's a lot lighter, yes,
it's
for
a couple
sure.
of liters lighter. Unfortunately, yeah, that's normally an expensive situation. But as they come up onto the grid, a very impressive alignment that we see out there. It's nice to see that Willem Swart is back out on the grid as well. Dylan Jabber, the leading Class C car with Faisal Jacobs. Andre Johnson leading out to Class D, and that alongside Sandra Becker.
Yeah, I see Sandra Becker out there, and Shane de Toy is in there as well. Willie Swart. They're all in that fight. Dexter Bruce is also in there. Dex is right there next to Stephen Gous. It says 146 on the car, but it says 143 on our monitor here. So we'll go with that. Either way, we know that it is Dexter Bruce that is in that BMW.
See Quinton Carstens in the 116, and he'll be looking forward to this one. Just behind him in the 80 is David Faree. On that right-hand side of the circuit, in front of that, the 133, that's Cedric Berger. And then just ahead of Cedric Berger, that's Herman Heijsamen. And then, oh, there's a gap. And I think that is where Trappist van Tonder, Frankie, should have been. Is that not Trappist standing right at the back of the pack?
It could be. Trappist was saying to me this morning that they were going to replace shocks because he believed that there was a vibration coming. Well, there was a vibration coming from the car. He believed it was the shocks, but he says it may be the shocks, it may not have been the shocks. They were going to replace the shocks and then take it from there. So I don't think Trappist is actually out there, to be quite honest with you.
That's the grid spot that should be, as you see there on the screen, behind the Audi. And unfortunately, that spot is standing open.
I think that might be Bruce Meyer that is starting from the back of the field. All right, Jordan just looked out the window, and Trappist van Tonder will be starting from pit lane.
Yeah,
There
we
we
can
see a car standing just there in pit lane.
Is there a car standing next to the marshal or a marshal standing next to the car?
He was on his little scooter bike this morning, was Trappist. I said to him, gee whiz, buddy, more toys. He says, yeah, always room for some more toys to play with, but apparently he had that thing for quite some time already.
Jaco Lambert, if I remember correctly, did not come out in the first event of the year. Mario Roux, a man that we're accustomed to mentioning a name through GTI Challenge, and now he finds himself at the front end of Thermofire's Clubman Saloons.
Right, so you see this whole group of Clubman's cars. There's 20 plus of them out there. We'll have a look now at the moment. Our timekeeping device changes to see how many are supposed to be out there. It's supposed to be 29, but 28 of them qualified. Andre Fourie did not post a time. So if everybody is there that should be there that entered, there should, in theory, be 29 cars, but there may be a touch less out there at the moment.
I think there might be a duplicate. Oh, it's David Fourie and Andre Fourie, the 80 and the 60.
Right, look at that train of Clubman's regional saloon cars working their way up the Tigerberg Straight, out of Damstip, towards Saddle Sweep, turn 4. They just keep on flowing through Saddle Sweep with the medical vehicle, the marshal's bakkie, and the chase vehicles going behind. Clubman's cars behind the safety car as they work their way down the Killarney Straight towards Cape Town Corner.
Well, Frankie, of some useless information, look at the trees on the left-hand side. Those trees used to be massive. It was strange when they cut all the trees, trimmed it phenomenally, and it felt so bare. And look at those trees now. They've recovered beautifully, and it's just part of the ambiance of the very neatly maintained Killarney International Raceway, 78th year of the running of Killarney International.
Well, those trees are getting a lot bigger. Those oak trees have been around here since the 1950s. Very much part of Killarney International Raceway, those big old oak trees, as these Clubman's saloon cars roll out of Cape Town Corner, out of turn 5, through the kink. The lights on pit lane is on red. It's going to go off shortly, and away we're going to go.
Will it be Lambert? Will it be Roux? Will it be Bruce as they work their way down towards turn number 1? It looks like it's going to be Lambert Jr. Eases it nicely into the corner. Let's hope that everybody makes it through turn number 1.
Right, and Trappist van Tonder, well, it's 3 cars that's actually leaving a pit lane. David Vermaak is another one of those 3 cars that's leaving pit lane. However, we go towards Castrol Corner. It is Jaco Lambert that sits in P1. Mario Roux is in that second position. Behind him, we have got Dexter Bruce. Then we've got Stephen Gous. Behind Stephen Gous is Shane Justice, followed there by Mark Gray and Willie Swart, Dylan Jabé, Paul Minnick. They're all in the house. That group of cars that's racing now out of a turn 3. Out of Damps, up the hill, towards Saddle Sweep.
Well, pretty much in that front groupings, the leader of Class A, Class B, and Class C. Remember that Class B leader is Shane Justice. Mark Gray leading just in front of Shane Justice is in fact leading out Class D.
Right, we've got a challenge for second position, racing down the back straight towards Saddle Sweep. There goes Lambert, and it's Dexter Bruce up on the inside of Mario Roux. Then coming through there, behind him, it's Stephen Gous. Gous is in that fight as well. And have a look at Mark Gray. He's having a look there on the outside of Shane Justice. There's Justice. There's Mark Gray on his outside. Then it's Willie Swart. Paul Munich is going side by side with Dylan Jabé as they work their way out of the 5A kink down towards turn 1, block 1 corner.
Wow, there's just so many cars out there. What an awesome sight. But at the end of the day, it's Lambert that's decided let's up, dust, and disappear. Dexter Bruce from Mario Roos, Stephen Gous, the headline sponsor man, in 4th overall on circuit, 3rd in class. The leading Class C car being Mario Roos, the leading Class B car is in fact Mr. Shane Justice.
Right, we see Bernard Lehman go through there as well, Eva de Toy, but this is his front group making its way out of Damstep, running up the Tygerberg Straight towards a saddle sweep. There goes Justice, there goes Willie Swart, Dylan Jabir going through your screen as well. Baby Jakes has also been in that fight in that yellow BMW racing down the back straight. The leaders are working their way through Cape Town corner as the rest of the field just make their way towards the Tygerberg Straight. David Vermaak in that fight as well as the leaders are heading towards turn 1. And right up front, it is Jaco Lambert that's making his way into block 1 corner. Behind Jaco Lambert, it's Dexter Bruce as they come through. He's got his nose ahead there of Mario Roos. Then behind Mario Roos, it is Stephen Gous. Behind Stephen Gous, it's Mark Gray. Then it's Justice coming through. Willie Swart, Paul Munich. Right behind Paul Munich is Dylan Jabir. And behind Dylan Jabir is Baby Jakes. That's a top 10 followed by Andre Johnson.
Yeah, and Cedric Berger. It's nice to see him back on circuit. Berger is out there again as well.
Just ahead of Becker and Hendricks.
Yeah, Becker and Hendricks having a pretty decent battle at the same time. You see more towards the back end of the pack. Oopsie, getting it completely out of shape and going and cutting some grass, but getting that rather large machine back together on the circuit.
Just notice that blue BMW come through there of David Vermaak. He was a pit lane starter as this field races down the back Killarney Straight. Justice coming through your shot now. Then behind him it's Swart as the rest of the field, but the leaders are making their way out of turn number 5, out of Cape Town corner, and they're heading towards the 5A kink, and that is Jaco Lambert that sits there in P1. Jaco Lambert sitting there in P1 with Dexter Bruce behind him now. Dexter, let's have a look and see, 3.1 seconds behind him. And then there's this lovely fight here between Roos, Gous and Gray. And it is still, it's Gous that's now got his nose ahead there of Mario Roos out of block 1 corner. And right on the heels is Gray. Then we've got Shane Justice, Willie Swart, Paul Munich, Dylan Jabir, Baby Jakes is coming through as well, followed by Andre Johnson. Then it is Sandra Becker that's going one-on-one here with Cedric Berger and Josef Hendricks in that red BMW, right on the case there of Cedric Berger.
Well, I tell you what, Lambert's decided let's have a nice day. There might not be enough lunch in the Boma, so let's get back to the Boma first, and that's exactly what he's doing. Up, dust and disappear. Lambert says cheers and goodbye. He's got in excess of 3 seconds on the rest of the pack in the absence of the likes of Jesse Huggett, who will be back at the next event.
And he's the quickest man out there with a 122.302 so far. He's your race leader. Coming through there. There is Gous, Roos and Mark Hope coming through as you hear the leader scream down into turn number 1. That's Dexter Bruce. Stephen Gous coming towards us. Mario Roos, well, he has got Mark Gray there with him. Here comes Shane Justice. On his heels is Willie Swart. And behind Willie Swart is Paul Munich. Dylan Jabir coming through as well. Then it's Jacobs that's making his way through as well. And that's Faisal Jacobs. And Valen Forsking's dad, what's his name, coming through there as well. And then we have the rest of the field just coming through as they work their way into turn 1.
A bit of side-by-side battling going down here. So, as always, action everywhere through the pack when it comes to Thermo Fires Clubman. And a big thanks to Thermo Fires, which is in fact Stephen Gous that finds himself right at the lead end of the pack.
All right, so as the field makes its way down that Killarney Straight, it is massive. These are the gaps that's busy forming out there as we have a look at them work their way through. This is the midfield that's coming through. So So that is, yeah, Trappist van Tonder has been caught there. Trappist van Tonder, and now have a look and see, I don't think that is Trappist van Tonder. I think it might be Bruce Meyer that is there in trouble. We'll have a look now as the car does come past us, and it is indeed, it's an 88 car that's in trouble. It's neither Meyer nor is it Trappist.
Yeah, so we come back to turn one then, that's sixth position. That's Shane Justice with Willem Swart behind him, Paul Munich in that big battle, Dylan Joubert, Faisal Jacobs and Andre Jonsson going into turn number one here, Frankie. And listen, it's exactly what you said a couple of minutes ago, action everywhere all over the track here at Killarney.
Well, that car that was very slow was Craig Agliotti, that was very slow. Here comes the rest of the field through. That is Kannemeyer, and Trappist van Tonder is in that fight as well. Peter Kannemeyer coming through. Trappist just getting ahead there of Kannemeyer, and Manus Haysamen also working his way through. Then we've got Quinton Carstens, and just ahead of him is Adrian Roberts. And then we have got Lehman, that's Bernard Lehman in that Opel Corsa. That's busy working his way towards Castrol Corner.
And the great thing with this as well is that might be 18th, 19th and 20th place overall, but in their class, that's for much higher position out there just now. That's why they're all fighting so hard here, which makes it amazing stuff to watch. We're back on the back straight here, and again, everywhere you look, there's just something. My eyes have brought to that fight for second and third position there in Club B. Svart and Munich, they're just about a tenth of a second there as well.
Yeah, that's Shane Justice, and right behind him we've got Paul Munich coming through as well. Paul Munich busy working his way through. Then we've got Willie Swart in that Jetta 2, busy chasing them down is Willie Swart. And not too far behind them coming into view now, we should have Joubert coming through, Dylan Joubert, and behind Dylan Joubert, here they come, that's Faisal Jacobs, and Jacobs has got his nose ahead of Dylan Joubert. Is Dylan slowing down? Dylan Joubert is slowing down. Faisal Jacobs has got through on him, and then it's Johnson that's coming through there as the rest of the field just work their way through into turn number one, Blockcoin.
Well, we're watching the action here. I'm just looking out the corner of my eye. That is absolute disaster for Dylan Joubert, slowing down going into turn two, and that's going to be a car wide at the exit of one. Rallycross style, keeps the foot in, manages to get it in that beautiful, beautiful cigarette branded livery.
That's Quinton Carstens that's got it slightly out of shape and out of line, and he was all the way in 19th position was Carstens when he had that off in Blockcoin.
Yeah, fantastic car. Reminds me of Tommy Mackinnon in the rallycross, but here we go then, still into turn one. There is second place of Bruce making his way down. Behind there is Howes. And the thing is, they're now coming across lap traffic here. So Stephen Gowes there going into turn number one, number 34 here. And Frankie, last lap of the race, this again has just been chaos from start to finish.
Well, this is the final lap, and the leader's making his way towards turn three, towards Damstip. And that is Jaco Lambert. That's sitting all on his own. He is the quickest guy out there, 122.137 by Jaco Lambert, as he makes his way up the Tygerberg Straight into the double right-hander saddle sweep for the final time in this race. Actually thought that it was the Volskink in that Audi, but it's not. That's actually Johnson. Earlier on I said that it was Volskink, but it's not. It's Andre Johnson that's driving that motor car. As Jaco Lambert is making his way into Cape Town Corner for the final time in this one to take the checkered flag. And when they started this lap, he was just over 7 seconds ahead of Dex. But that now matters not, because the flag is out for Jaco Lambert.
Yep, comes across the line, and it is a sensational victory then for Jaco Lambert then. And again, that gap is almost certainly going to go up to nearer 10 seconds over to your second place car, who comes across the line of Bruce there. Third place of Gowes comes across the line. Fourth place is going to be Gray in that Club D car. Then it is the number 20 of Roux for Clubman Class C. And again, battle to the line for the number 24, I think just pipped at the post here. There we go with Justice coming across. This is the fight for Club B, and it is going to be the number 69 of Justice who does take the win in class for them. Shane Justice ahead of Paul Murnick and Willem Swart.
Yeah, Willem Swart coming to line. Here comes Faisal Jacobs. And that is the Volkswagen car that it's not been driven by him. That's Andre Johnson that's in that motor car. Sandra Becker will cross the line. Josef Hendricks will finish in there behind him. Cedric Berger in the BMW will come to the line. Trappist van Tonder will finish his race. And it's a ailing Dylan Jabert that comes through. Peter Kannemeyer is the next man. Hermanus Haysamen Fourie coming to the line. Then it is Adrian Roberts that will finish just behind Bernard Lehman and David Vermaak. Wow, what a race out there for Thermofires Clubman's Regional Saloon Cars race number 1. Evert de Toy crossing the line with the Ford Falcon. And that Polo that went very slow in race 1, we actually thought that it may be Bruce Meyer, but Bruce Meyer is not in this race. Then we thought it may be Trappist van Tonder, but it wasn't. As I said earlier on, it's an 88 car of Craig Agliotti that was in trouble, that was pretty slow a bit early on, like a lap or 2 before the checkered flag.
Frankie, we just caught that on the tail end of it there, but that fight at the end between 19th, 20th and 21st, Roberts, Vernac and Lehman, 0.25 of a second separating 3 cars. That is an insane finish to that race for them.
Well, this was the overtaking maneuver with Dexter Bruce going up on the inside of Mario Roux. And then behind them you see Stephen Goos and Shane Justice. That was the Fourie Golf, David Fourie's Golf, that was in a spot of bother there in Cape Town corner. And just a replay of this whole line of cars that's working along the Jabert Straight towards Castrol corner.
Frankie, if that was a Golf, does that mean he was in the bunker?
That's Quinton Carstens that got it all wrong, going through Blockcoin corner. Well, he bounced around a bit and found the racetrack once again. That's just another angle of Quinton Carstens doing a bit of an off-road excursion. But as you see on shot there, over the rumble strip and back on the track once again. David Vermaak put wheels on dirt there. Bernard Lehman was just in there behind him. And then we're back to the first shot that we saw there with Mark Gray, Shane Justice, Stephen Goos, and of course Dexter Bruce getting past Mario Roux.
Well, I promise I won't make that joke about golf in a bunker through the rest of the weekend. But through the course of that replay, one thing that we did see out there was our wonderful marshals out there in the orange. So we have to say a huge thank you to all of the circuit staff and track marshals that make this weekend happen.